Hey everybody, this is Mrs. Alcala again from Cy Ranch High School, and today I would like to work with you on solving systems of equations. Okay, solving systems of equations. Now this may not be something you've done a lot of in your algebra class, but it's something that we continually do throughout the year in geometry K level especially, and it'll really get you ready for algebra 2 as well. So we're going to start off with two equations. That will be a system when you have more than one equation and you have more than one variable. So there's your first equation, and there's your second one. You actually have a couple of different options here. We're going to start this one by using substitution. Now, in substitution, you basically have either one or both of these equations solved for either the x or the y variable. And that lends itself really well to solving by substitution because all you have to do is substitute one variable in place of the other right here. So all of this will now go right there. Just shove it right there. So in place of this y, I'm going to put x plus 1. I'll keep rewriting this equation equals 3x plus 5. All right, now we're going back to when we did solving equations. You're going to gather your variables all together on one side of the equation. Whichever way you want to go, it doesn't matter. 2x equals, or 2x plus 5. Subtract 5 from both sides. 2x equals negative 4. And finally, divide by 2. And our solution for x is negative 2. Here's the problem though, we're not finished. We have to find x and y. So the next step would be to plug this back into either equation. It doesn't matter. Typically, I'd say go with the one that looks easier. To me, the second one looks a lot easier. Not a lot, but a little easier. So we're going to plug it back into this equation to find our y value. So since x down here said it was equal to negative 2, I'm going to put it right here. There's substitution again. Negative 2 and 1 is negative 1. Here's another thing we're going to be really picky about. When you want to show a solution to a system, you're going to write it as a coordinate point. X was negative 2, y was negative 1. You have to put it in that order, alphabetical order. So if you had A and B you were working with, of course the A goes first, the B goes second. And that's how you show your answer. Okay, so there's our first one using substitution. Now we're going to move on to another type of equation. X minus y equals 2. X plus y equals 8. You're going to notice that in this system, we've got x and y on the same side of the equation. And although I could go ahead and use substitution again if I solved one of these equations for either x or y, I'm going to show you how to solve this one using elimination. There's other words for this, other terms, but I typically use this. Solve by eliminating a variable. So what's kind of neat about this one is look at these y's here. If I were going to just try to add these two equations together, I have 1x and 1x, that's going to give me 2x. If I try to add these, they're opposites, so they're gone. They're eliminated. Keep going here. 2 plus 8 is 10. Divide by 2, and voila, look at that. We already have x. It was that fast. Not done yet, though. We still have to go back and find y. Plug it back into either equation. I would say, yeah, stay away from the negatives if you can. Let's go with this equation. So since x plus y equals 8, we're going to plug in x is 5. 5 plus y equals 8, and then just solve it. Move the 5 over, blah, blah, blah. There you go. So your solution is 5, 3. Well done. Pretty cool, right? So again, you could use substitution on this one if you want, but typically elimination to me, a little bit neater. All right, let's try another one. This one is 2x minus y equals 8, and x plus 2y equals 9. Now, can't quite use that same thing I just showed you because watch what happens. If I try to add the y's or the x's, they don't disappear. So we're going to have to do a little fancy footwork here. It's not too bad though. One thing we need to have for elimination is opposite signs, and you're going to notice the y's already have opposite signs. But you also need to have opposite coefficients. The numbers must match up. So if I want a 2 here, because that's what's going to make my y's disappear, I can do that. But I have to multiply the entire equation by 2. Remember, we got to keep the scale level on both sides. Everything has to stay the same. So if I multiply everything by 2, it's going to look different. It's in essence the same equation, just looks different. So if I multiply through, I get 4x minus 2y, see that? 2 and negative y, equals, now we're going to do the 2 times the 8, and that's 16. So now, watch what happens. This is really cool. Now this is kind of gone. I usually kind of cross that out and think, I don't want to use that one again. I've already used it. Go ahead and add these up. I get 5x, and look at that. The y's are gone. 9 plus 16, 25. Divide by 5, and x equals 5. Let me go back real quickly and show you where most people make the mistakes. They make the mistakes by forgetting to multiply the constant by what's in front, or by messing up on the signs. So just be really careful. When you've distributed, go back and do a quick check before you move on, because if you've made your mistake right here, everything from there on out is wrong. So be really careful here. Take your time. Now what do I have to do next? Because I'm not done. I gotta find y. So plug it into any one of these three equations would be fine. I'm going to go with this one. To me, it just looks a little bit easier. So in place of having x plus 2y equals 9, I'm going to put that 5 right there. 5 plus 2y equals 9. And you should know what to do from there, hopefully, if you went over your solving equations lesson carefully. Divide by 2. Okay, and y equals 7 halves. You can make that 3.5, you can make it 3.5, whatever floats your boat, doesn't matter. So my solution there was 5 and 3.5. Okay, so if you want to go back and you think, this looks a little iffy, maybe I better make sure I did that right. Okay, well, did anybody notice a mistake I made? Because I did make a mistake. Did you see it, anybody? Aha, let's go back. See, when you see a fraction, now you will frequently get a fraction, but in this case, it was wrong. It wasn't a fraction. So this is wrong. And let's see if y'all caught it. Did you see where I went wrong? What's 9 minus 5? Yeah, it's not 7. So let's go back and fix that. See, I make mistakes too. My mind was not with me. 9 minus 5 is 4, Mrs. Alcala, not 7. So now we're going to divide both sides by 2. And we get y equals 2. Sorry about that. Yeah, I went a little brain dead there for a minute. Okay, so there's our system. Now, just to make sure, do y'all know how to check to see if that's right? Having that 3.5, which again, you will get fractions once in a while, but I specifically made this lesson so we wouldn't. Let's go back and plug into one of the equations and make sure it works. So I'm going to go back to this one again. Plug in x is 5 from right there. Y is 2 from right there. And we're supposed to get 9. So 5 plus 4, yay. Okay, did it right the second time. Thank heavens. Okay, let me try one more just to show you I can do it without messing up. Okay, so last problem. Okay, so the next problem we're going to use, oops, I just lost my cursor. I can't find it. Disappeared on me. This airliner acts up sometimes. Okay, so our next equation will be 2x minus y equals negative 1. Just kind of ignore that mark for a second. And 6x minus 2y equals 14. Okay, so I think you should pause your video at this point and see if you can figure out how to solve this one on your own before I show you how to do it. Okay, so pause it for a second, and we'll come right back. Okay, so let's say hopefully you took a little time to figure it out. Now, on this one, I want to try to eliminate the x's instead of the y's. So if we come over here, and we want to get rid of the x's, we could change both of these numbers to make them the same. If I multiply the top equation by 3, that will make this into a 6. But it has to actually be -3 because I need opposite signs. So let's go ahead and do that. Multiply everything by -3. We will get -6x plus 3y. Did you notice that? -3 times -y, +3, equals -3 times -1, +3. Okay, I'm going to rewrite the equation underneath it just to make it a little bit neater. That's where it came from, right there. That's that equation. Okay, so back one more time. I need to have opposite coefficients. I need to make them both into the same number. So I changed this into -6, which meant I had to multiply everything in this equation by -3. Now we're ready to go ahead and eliminate because the x's this time disappear. Combine my y's, I get 1y. 3 and 14 is 17. I hope I added right this time. Okay, let's plug back in for the x. 2x minus y equals -1. 2x, remember what we got for y? We got 17, so -17 equals -1. Add 17 to both sides. 2x equals 16. Divide by 2. X equals 8. Now, some of you may have noticed, if you happen to eliminate your x's, or your y's first, I should say, you got your x equals 8 first, and then when you plugged it in, you got your y equals 17. It doesn't matter which order you do it in. Okay? You can eliminate the x or the y first. It's up to you. Finally, plug it into one of them just to make sure we did it right. 2x minus y equals -1. I'm going to use that one. 2 times 8 minus 17. Does that equal -1? 16 minus 17. Yep, sure does. Ta-da, we did it right. So please take time to practice this. This is one of the things that most kids have troubles with. And we will go over it, of course, when you come into class, but it just makes it a lot easier if you've already seen it and practiced it a little bit. All right, good luck. Bye.